Guys, seriously, I'm having some of the most fun I've had in a long time in the Crucible. I'm excited for today's video. You and me, we're gonna talk about some big brain stuff. Stay with me on this one. There's some really cool things to go over that I want to show you, things that you should know. It's going to be a really fun one. And I said on Twitter on how much fun I was having. A lot of you are having fun, some not so much. Some said that it's a honeymoon phase, but not for me, not with how I'm playing and what I'm doing. So today I want to talk about the short to mid-range engagements, how that range has changed, the things you can do, the new playstyles that are out there. I'm about to open up some things for you to try, so check your vaults. There's a link at the top of the screen on me covering the mid to long range after the 120 RPM nerf. But for this, it all starts with the nerf to shotguns. They increased the aggressive frame shotgun cone angle from 4.0 to 4.25 degrees, reduced shotgun damage fall off by 2 meters, and they increased the shotgun damage fall off by 2 meters with that new set range. All of this means that the aggressive frames have a wider cone, meaning the pellets can expand a little bit further out and miss, whereas before that cone was a little bit more narrow. All shotguns got a range nerf. The one hit kill range for aggressives is in that 6 to 7 meter range now, 6 meters consistently, and a really lucky pellet RNG to get 7 and a little over 7. You're gonna have to have super lucky pellet RNG. Now the lightweights, remember you get the lightweight bonus, 5 to 6 meters now. They can 2-tap up to about 9 meters. Precision frames, 6 to 7 meters as well. And I see a lot of players trying to figure out what to use or even arguing sometimes. So here's my opinion, you can use any of them. Instead of talking about what we can do to get the furthest one hit kill depending on RNG for those deep shots, why don't we put it into our own hands? Why not make things happen instead? I recommend building to a loadout, building out a loadout, because before it was Fellwinter. You don't think about it, you just throw it on, and the kills happen. So now you're gonna have to spec into what you wanna do. It could be high handling. It could be something like Demolitionist. There's a ton of different things you can start going for now. Not to mention slug shotguns, Lord of Wolves, Duality, Chaperone, all of them are good. I want to show you something, some footage I've been capturing. The range nerf is felt. There have been multiple times where my shotgun opponent wasn't close enough. It just kind of fails. A lot of players have that muscle memory for those previous 8+ meter shots, those deep shots. All of that needs to be relearned to get within that 5 to 7 meter range, because shotguns are still deadly. And just like how the 120s opened up more weapons and playstyles that I went over in that previous video, this shotgun nerf did that as well. For those closer ranged weapons, they can perform now. And I'm going to talk about different weapons in a moment, different ways to play. But I want to talk about my favorite thing about this nerf, melee builds. They're back and they're better than ever. It's all possible because of that shotgun range nerf, and with that nerf, each class has great melee options to close that gap, and they all do it very well. I plan to do separate videos in the coming weeks to perfect some of these builds, full breakdown with mods. But the first thing I want to talk about today is Top Tree Arcstrider Deadly Reach combination flow. I'm sure some of you haven't even played this subclass seriously. It's good, and it's been years since it's been relevant. It used to be a top 3 subclass in Destiny 2's infancy. That stopped when shotguns became special weapons and then just completely died when stasis came out, but not anymore. It's back. Combat flow, melee kills recharge your dodge. Deadly Reach, after dodging, you get increased melee range. And then combination flow. Kill an enemy with a melee will trigger health regeneration and increase melee damage. I've been combining this with Assassin's Cowl. Powered melee final blows grant invisibility and restore a portion of health and shields. That gap that leaves them one shot after a shotgun shot, Deadly Reach crosses that gap. Gets the final blow, you go invisible, you're off radar with your shotgun for your next target, you get health back, you get more melee damage, it's crazy good. It works. And I said earlier that we're going to be talking about some big brain stuff, and since I'm doing this build, there's a particular Reese Walker you're seeing and you're going to continue to see on some other builds. This is exactly what I was talking about earlier with building into a shotgun. I have 2 of these, one is full choke, tac mag, hipfire, swashbuckler. The other is rifled, accurized, slideways, swashbuckler. Full choke is consistent, but slideways gives me that ammo in the mag as I'm running around, and the handling bump is super nice. But you see the theme there, they both have swashbuckler. And when talking about far one-hit kills, should I run Iron Reach, opening shot, should I do full choke, rifled barrel? You know what kind of just meets the criteria overall? A swashbuckler shotgun, and we haven't really talked about that before. This takes the damage from 18-19 per pellet to 24-25 per pellet, so this is extending the one-hit kill range. Even better though, with this particular Top Tree Arcstrider with what I'm doing. If I have that perk up, I've gotten the melee, Deadly Reach is procced and Combination Blow is up too, so the ×1 Combination Blow does 124 damage per melee, meaning I can prime them from further away, because the pellets are starting off at 24 and 25, then I have a long melee lunge to close the gap because of Deadly Reach, and once I get there, the melee itself is doing more damage because of the skill tree. It's fantastic, but it's not just a lightweight shotgun. I prefer the lightweights like this one because of the movement speed, and then swashbuckler. But you can obviously use any shotgun that you want. Duality, Lord of Wolves, Chaperone, they can all do this. Slugs have always been good. Slugs are never going to one-shot to the body, but they're always going to have more distance than these regular pellet spreads. As long as you land 100 to the body with a slug, the melee will finish it up, and they're going to be extended melees with what I'm talking about today. On this first in, I have auto-loading opening shot. So I can just run around, it's going to auto-load the ammo. Opening shot, tad bit more range, more accuracy. I hit him right in the gut, lunge in. Any shotgun can work. They all work when you're doing this. But I do want to stress, it's not just shotguns. Sidearms are great as well because that shotgun gap overall is a lot closer. 5 to 6 meters, 6 to 7. You can prime them from further away and then use that melee range. You can use your vertical space with sidearms or an SMG, and there isn't really anything they can do because you're going to be more than 5-6 meters away from them. The only thing they can do is bring their primary back out. And as I keep going, all of these melee builds I have gotten just rolling and having a good time. Like everyone's talking about the Kill Clip Loud Lullaby 2-tap, so I've been incorporating a steady hand swashbuckler into this build. It's the same bonus damage, but I'm coming out invisible, waiting to 2-tap. So again, there's a ton of things you can do. Swashbuckler Gnawing Hunger. You can go Monte Carlo for the Markov chain. It's endless. That melee space is wide open. Moving on to Warlock, they already have the longest melee in the game, but you can add on the Ophidians for an even further melee range, and that gives you just almost everything that you need. It gives you a version of Quick Draw and Snapshot, you have the melee range. The Ophidian Warlock melee is scary good. I do see a lot of players switching from steps to this in the Crucible. Close range fights are always going to happen in Destiny 2 PvP, and these exotics and builds with their skill trees are extremely useful now. I want to stress that. You saw earlier in the video, I was using Sunbrazers and got a Wii Ran with them. Just fun. Stuff you never could have done before. There's Karnsteins, Winter's Guile, Necrotic Grips, Claws of Ahumkara. If you want to get crazy, even Fellwinter's Helm, because you can land melees now. So with something that's a neutral exotic, you next want to pair it with a charged melee that you want. Maybe Top Tree Celestial Fire, maybe Bottom Tree Solar Explosion melee, maybe Devour, Bottom Tree Voidwalker, Top Tree Bloom. Tons of things to have fun with now. Moving on to Titan. Bottom Tree Arc Striker Knockout. Breaking enemy shield gives you more melee range and melee damage. And then you have Frontal Assault. The charged melee reloads your weapon and gives you stability and weapon damage. Now the weapon damage does stack with a swashbuckler weapon, a shotgun, a sidearm, anything. One more time, I do believe the melee is going to be a big part of close range engagements now if you build into it. They're a huge part. I've had so many times where they're short, they're gonna be short because I'm priming them from far for my melee, and they would have to time their melee. The best that they could do is time me. But Bottom Tree Knockout, you could pair it with Dune Marchers. So when you land that melee, it spreads, you have the knockout buff, you can use that lunge range going opponent to opponent. And specifically on that Bottom Tree Striker with Knockout, you can go Skullfort and just abuse Frontal Assault. You can do SMG, Sidearm, Shotgun Beatdown, whatever, get the melee final blow. When you do, the exotic's gonna reset that charged melee, then you switch to your other weapon and just abuse Frontal Assault over and over, just keep cycling it. It's great. Beyond Bottom Tree Striker, there's the Syntheseps, definitely back. So you pair that with a charge that you want. Top Sentinel gives you an overshield, middle tree has the detonators. One of my favorite is Bottom Hammer Sunspots. The Sun Warrior buff, the Sunspot, does stack with Swashbuckler. So something like Lonesome can do 90 per crit. It's amazing. And going back to the Swashbuckler Steady Hand, that stacks too, both those bonuses. It does 128 to the head. I just wanted you to know that this space is back and it's open. You can do a lot of cool stuff now. You can do it confidently because you're building to it. 10 meters in, it got a lot more interesting. Your SMG, sidearm, other shotguns have room to breathe, room to shine, and outside 10 meters. SMGs, sidearms are really good, starting to get into fusion range up to 20 meters. A lot more ranges are getting defined. Did you get into that 28, 34 meter range for the 140 RPM hand cannons? Then we're gonna see some nade launchers, but for the most part, I like what I see. I really like what I see. You can do more with more exotics, more builds than ever before. Not only that, importantly, with more subclasses than ever before. And I'm just scratching the surface with this video. There's a ton you can do. I didn't bring up things like Liar's Handshake with Top Tree Deadly Reach. It's extremely effective as well. And like I said, I'm having a blast playing with these builds. So go try some of it, have a good time, see what works for you, what doesn't work, build a loadout. If you're new here, remember to hit the subscribe button, and if you are subscribed, thank you so much for your support. If you're looking for a new controller, I am partnered with Scuff Gaming. You can use the link down below and my code COOL at checkout for a discount. Let's talk about all this down below in the comment section. What are your thoughts? Thank you for watching, and until the next one, I am CoolGuy.